That's kind of a pretty sky. My load is shifting back there. My sleeping bag and tent are strapped down a bit. Getting dislodged a little bit. Pull over. Let's see if I can. 6.7 miles until I'm home. A lot of miles. I like riding a lot of miles. Okay, there's something to notice. So I'm streaming music using GPS. I have this screen on, and obviously she's Bluetooth. For most of the ride, granted I was using Pandora and now I'm using Google, my phone wasn't charging. It was like staying at 14%. It was plugged into the bottom one. Now it's plugged into the top. I think the top's better because it is it's at least 25%, maybe 30. Which is better than not charging. It wasn't dying, it was just like staying flat. Bye 18-wheeler, I hate you. Oh, these fucking roads. Well, my shit's rattling loose. Pretty fast. I want to go to all of them. Aim to the home at the same time. An LED headlight, and it's pretty bright by itself. It has a built-in high beam, which is just one more LED, and that makes it fairly noticeably brighter. It basically fills in a hole in the projection, like right in the top center. So normally the beam is like a really blurry U shape, and when I turn the bright on, it's uniform. It's not missing that little top center section. And I like LEDs because it really lights up everything that's reflective, like all these signs and stuff. And then you know, when the reflective here, if I run across another high-vis uncle, you'll be able to see him. That guy needs high-vis here. I'm gonna flash him up in my bright spot. Ass crack hanging out. You are not very visible. You need a vest like me. Instead of just wearing plain clothes walking in the middle of the street. There's a crosswalk right here. Like that, let's see, the maintenance I did for this shit. I finally put on my new front tire, needed that. I already had the tire and inner tube on hand, I just had to do the work. I thought I could fill it up with my foot pump, but that was really impractical and would take forever. So I threw it in the back of my truck and drove to the gas station and paid $1.50 to get one of those compressors to do the work for me. Been to that Publix when I was house hunting. When I had the tire off, I inspected my front brakes and realized they were basically gone. So I changed those. Likewise, I had the brake pads on hand because I knew that was coming. I had this a while actually, the brake pads. What else we got? New mirrors. These vibrate a lot, make it really blurry, so be careful. I can still tell if there's a car there. I can't tell if it's a cop or not. My favorite one, I changed the oil. I was less than 2,000 miles, but it's been 9 months. So, obviously I haven't done a lot of writing, trying to get the job and whatnot. That oil seemed kind of old, so I just went ahead and changed it. It wasn't hurt. Like the other thing, I had oil and oil filters, plural, on hand. So the bike only takes 2.5 quarts of oil. I buy it when you get 5 quarts in, so I buy 2 oil filters. And that's what I had handy. So do the oil change the filter. We're good. Right? Wrong. I don't start the bike. I just sort of push it over to my parking spot. And the next day I load it up. I get all ready to go. I hop on my bike like I'm going to leave. Start it up. And oil comes spraying out from underneath it. And I freak out. I had no idea what's going on. The GPS is freaking out right now. It thinks I turned around. But it turned out that when I removed the old oil filter, its gasket stayed stuck to the bike, to the oil filter receiver, whatever you want to call it. And so I put the new one on. There were suddenly 2 gaskets that sort of like pressed on each other and distorted each other and left a big hole. So when my bike tried to pump oil into the oil filter, it comes spraying out of this big hole. And I'm spraying, I mean spraying. I mean, it emptied the oil in just a few seconds. It left a big mess. So that means I had to change the oil twice. So I pulled the drain plug and drained the 2 drops that were left in there. Ooh, careful. So, drained the rest of the oil, pulled the old oil filter off, and off came 2 gaskets. So I made sure there wasn't another gasket on there somehow, and I put the new oil filter, the second one I had on hand, and the remainder of the 5 quarts of oil in there. So I'm out of oil change supplies. I'll stock up next time. I need an oil change. Maybe that. It does keep paying the buck. I'll straighten it out. Text me back. I got that taken care of. Out on the road, 30 minutes. And realized I forgot to put my tag on. 4 hours before the trip getting tags and registrations for my vehicle, getting VIN errors gonna pull over and take a picture. So I pull over in the grass, walk up the front wheel, and bam, down I go. Break the box to pieces, it's barely staying together. It's gonna be retired once I get home in 3 minutes. But it held together for the weekend, bungeed together, bungeed to the bike, but real precarious. We had that put back together, got back on the road, finally crossed that North Carolina border, and made it to the kickstand lodge. I intended to be at the kickstand by 3, but at the North Carolina border, it was 5:30 and the Georgia game started, so I just listened to the game. So I listened to it as long as the signal allowed. After the kickstand, and camped. Met some cool people. Watched the very last bit of the game. The kickstand is something else. Camping was rough, as I mentioned earlier. Sleeping on the ground. Pretty groggy when I got up, so I chugged 4 Starbucks espresso thingies. That did the trick. Then I got on the bike and I rode. I don't know what time I started this morning. I feel like it had to be 9:30, 10. And here we are, 8:30, getting home. My original route through Helen was going to be 288 miles. But I deleted the Helen stop just before Helen because I didn't want to wait traffic. So that's 20 minutes of traffic is what we're saying. So I think I just sort of bypassed Helen and bypassed Dahlonega, went close. So I gotta be somewhere still in that neighborhood. And this is it. Now I'm home. That's nice. You wanna see how bright my headlights are? Watch this. Bam! And I'm parking in front of my truck.